Welcome back to BST, everybody. You can probably hear it in my voice. I'm pretty somber. One of the worst days being a Packers fan that I can think of. Obviously, that's probably an over-exaggeration. It's not like we just lost in the NFC Championship game, which has happened quite a bit in my fandom as a Packers fan. But honestly, just a devastating day of NFL football. Parsons goes down with the ACL. Mahomes goes down with an ACL. The ACL ligament has taken a lot of player seasons this year, and it's tragic because what makes the NFL great is the players. And to see some of these guys drop because of a ligament that I don't even know what it does, but snap randomly.
Stabilizes your knee, right?
I guess, but just sucks to see, man. But yeah, we're here to talk about some of the games. Vikings-Cowboys going right now. Vikings putting up a fight, and it's never good when your defense is making 9 look good at football. 2 weeks in a row now, two AFC East teams that are making 9 look pretty good, or NFC East teams making 9 look pretty good at football.
And on that, since we're talking briefly on the Vikings, this is probably all we'll talk about on the Vikings. Shout out to the Paul Farrington Show. Check them out, Viking supporters. Also,
Closeted Packer fans.
Would like to say, but it was nice to hear some of the, somberness they felt too with all the rash of injuries going on with Micah Parsons. I'm sure there were a lot of other NFC North division foes that were celebrating the defeat of the Packers and the injury to Parsons, but I got to shout out Paul Farrington and Ziggy Ziegler and their crew over there for being class acts. They're a hell of a show. If you guys get a chance to check them out, check them out.
I agree. Let's jump right into this thing with the Packers. I felt like this is a game we had to talk about first. Where do we even begin? I thought the Packers played a phenomenal first half, about as good as it could have gone. I will say, red zone offense has to improve. You cannot be kicking field goals against playoff caliber teams. You're not going to win games. But I think going into this game, I heard it from countless Packers guys. You gotta just get the ball into Bo Nix's hands. If you can just put points on the board, it puts pressure on Bo Nix. That's how you're gonna win the game. Well, that was not the case. No. He diced us. I'm a hater. I am not a believer. I don't have a boner for Bo Nix. I don't. And he diced us. What else is there to say? He diced us. And it's disappointing because if the one thing the Packers have had this season, even when the offense is struggling, it's the defense. And of all teams, the one team that's actually cracked the code this year against us was the Cowboys. And it's well, fine. The Cowboys have one of the best offenses. That's not been the case with Denver. They struggle against the Raiders defense. And it's just so frustrating. What was Bo Nix's final stats? 302 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's the greatest day in his career. And it just came against the Packers defense. And that's with Micah Parsons healthy for most of the game.
And the crap part is the Broncos aren't going to win the Super Bowl. So,
well, I don't know about that.
I don't think they do.
I think they have the pieces to win.
They have the defense too. I don't know.
They've showed they have the offense too. If it's there.
Yeah, I guess it's probably too fresh for me. but I've had Bo Nix on my fantasy team all year. He hasn't done this.
No. Not at all. Not even close. Not even close.
I think Denver's found their quarterback. I know you've definitely hated on Bo Nix most of the
It's not even been hating. It's just looking at the statistics and the facts. Not believing,
but it's the NFL too. Look at McCarthy today against the Cowboys. Looks pretty good so far, and he looked pretty good against Washington.
But it's against the Cowboys against Washington. Yeah. I expect better from this Packers defense at the end of the day.
The Packer defense. Talking about how they showed up. I agree with you. The first half, we looked pretty good. Came out in that second half. Scored on that, 2 or 3 play drive, 40-yard run by Jacobs, opened the lead to 9. Everything's rolling. force them into punting, get the ball back, time to go step on their throats, like we've said all year, and like all year, it never happens.
We've never done it.
And deep ball to Watson, little bit underthrown. Surtan makes a really good play, picks it off. Watson goes to the ground, falls on his shoulder. Some of Surtan falls on him too. I mean, can't control that. And he's hurt.
Did you see the thing about Watson, though? His dad said he'll be fine.
Oh.
Like, he's out of the hospital. He's traveling home with the team
Good.
and stuff. So
Good. Kind of precautionary. I think when you get hurt in the chest like that, so they expect him to be out long term?
No, I mean, his dad has been known for being on Twitter and being kind of volatile and not always telling the truth. But I'm going to trust the guy's father on this, and hopefully he's fine.
If it were serious and he thought, man, he broke something, he's probably not saying that. We'll see. But that's good news. That's good news. It is. But, you know, people have been killing LaFleur all year long for being too conservative. He went pretty aggressive there. I don't hate the call. I don't hate the play. I thought it was a pretty decently thrown ball, and it was a really good play by Surtan.
I'd have to go look at the film to see like how open it was.
It was a little underthrown. I mean,
I saw the throw, but I'm like, when
Watson was open.
Was he?
Yeah,
okay.
Watson had him. Okay. I think Watson had to slow down a little bit because the ball was underthrown, and you got to credit the pass rush of Denver. I mean, they got up in Love's face, and it looked kind of like Love couldn't get all of the follow through in it, but I felt like he got enough. And I just think it was a really good play by Surtan. I think 9 times out of 10, most corners are just knocking it down. Surtan made the play, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's the story of the Packer, the opposite story of the Packer defense, where how many Bo Nix potential interceptions did we drop? I mean, there were at least 2 or 3 that could have been picked, and they couldn't hold on to it. And that's kind of been the story all year long.
I mean, McKinney picks him off on that deep ball. Micah Parsons doesn't tear his ACL.
I mean, it's just.
Also, I'm not an expert, and I've heard other people say this. Is the ACL a thing where it's like it's a ticking time bomb? Or is it?
Feels like it.
Because it's like, what do you, like, I don't know.
I just think with how physical the game has become in terms of, not necessarily, I mean, physicality is always ramped up, but athleticism, these guys are pushing their bodies like to limits that they haven't before. And it feels a lot like for most of these high dynamic players, it's just a matter of when. It's not an if, it's a when. Look at all the greats out there. Chances are at some point in their career they've torn an ACL. And I don't know the stats. It just seems nowadays like, man, things are happening like that. I think Mahomes might be the first one I've seen that was actually a contact ACL tear. Yeah. Where most of them are the non-contact. And it sucks. I mean, I guess if there is a silver lining for the Packers with Parsons is, I don't think didn't feel like the year anyway for the run. And we're fortunate if it would have happened in a playoff run, not only is that way more devastating, but also time. Mm-hmm. He loses more games that way. Now he maybe misses the first couple weeks of the season.
Probably like a Christian Watson situation.
Well, Christian was a little bit later.
It was a little bit, but
I guess it was.
I would say it was a little bit later, but also Watson made like a comeback and like impressive, like
that's true.
Very like fast timing.
I'll tell you, Micah Parsons a freak. So
but here's where I'm worried though. He's an explosive player. That's kind of how he's so good. And I'm not gonna say for sure that like he's gonna lose that, but there is a part of me that is worried. That's like he comes back from this not the same player.
Well,
from an athleticism standpoint.
I think that has been a fear before, but I think the way medicine has.
I agree.
I mean the what's the word I'm looking for? The gains or the way the technology and all the stuff that goes into that now. I've heard a lot of them come back stronger.
Really?
Like they come back a little bit more. Because look at Watson. I mean, he didn't lose any of his explosiveness. No. Mike is a young guy. I don't think this affects him.
Yeah,
I really
hope it does.
I really don't think it does. And as long as he can keep that speed and he rehabs it appropriately, where you've seen it kind of hurt is like bigger guys, like Bakhtiari, but he was later, over 30. Later in his career, and I think with so much weight that you're putting on that, and I think Mike has always been the lighter guy. So I don't have any concern on that. I don't think. I think the way
I've just seen that brought up.
Oh yeah, and back in the day it was a real thing because the modern medicine wasn't
as
now.
good as
so,
yeah, for sure.
So I don't know, but in any event, it was a definite horrible day. The game turned on that Surtan play. Had a chance to maybe not go off the rails so much if Parsons doesn't get hurt.
I just think that took the wind out of the sails.
Oh, it totally. You could just see it in the guys. It's just so deflating.
Well, not only losing Watson, then it's like, I mean, so much was made of acquiring Parsons, and that put wind in the sails up until this point, and then just to take that away, and it's like, wow.
Oh yeah, whenever a team loses a dynamic player like Parsons, it definitely takes its toll. And but you know what? I do have to give credit to the Green Bay defense. They could have rolled over late in that game and just
got
threw
2
in
big
the towel.
stops.
They got a couple of 4th down stops, gave the ball back to the offense with a chance. It was only still a 8-point deficit, but at that point, you don't have Watson. Reed gets banged up. They know you need to throw, and Denver's got obviously a really good defense. So it was just them. That pass rush was just teeing off late. I mean, Zach Tom went out. So, I mean, it's just the injuries. It's never an excuse. Every team is dealing with injuries, and it just feels like the Packers have, the injuries they've sustained have all been. It's not like guys are in there playing through one. Like Lamar is playing through something, right? He's not the same. And it's like these guys just get hurt and they're out.
Yep.
Like, and I mean, you got 6 starters, 3 All-Pro that are out. I mean, that's hard to replace. And, this happened to Detroit last year, kind of ruined their run because it kind of felt like last year was Detroit's window. It was wide open for them. But in any event, Packers fall 34-26, and yeah, not a whole lot to be optimistic about for Green Bay.
But it's also just such a weird game because it was like, I felt like they really outplayed the Broncos for especially the first half, but even like it just feels like at times, and
they moved the ball, they just couldn't score touchdowns.
Yeah, but what also scares me is it's just like when this team isn't getting pressure defensively, like teams just pick us apart. And I think we saw our corners are no good. Like, I mean, can we stop putting them one-on-one with Sutton? Like, he's just a mismatch.
And if not that, the holes in the zone were gaping.
Yep.
I mean, they were absolutely gaping. I mean, you didn't have to be anybody in the league to make the throws. It was like they're just playing catch. There's nobody within 10 yards of these guys in the middle. And it was like they ran the same thing over and over, and the Packers were just lost. And we lose Evan Williams. We got our backups, strong safety or free. I don't know if he's strong or free, whatever. One of our safeties. Evan goes down, backup comes in, and they just feasted. And it was Bo Nix's best game all year. And, and it felt like late in that game, especially, like guys were kind of just gassed. The altitude was getting to them, and they just looked like they were slower and just struggling. But it was just very different. We haven't ever really been beat through the air as badly this year. It's usually come like last week with the Bears, just gain momentum on the run in the run game.
And even if it is through the air, it's like dinking and dunking.
Yeah, we gave up a couple big explosives, and yeah, they just. I don't know. We didn't execute. Certainly in the second half, we didn't execute. And on offense, we didn't execute in the first half or the second half, really. So yeah, I mean.
And if we look at this from like a long-term standpoint, like the season is over from the perspective of Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
You still have a 93% whatever chance to make the playoffs.
Well, you win 2 out of the 3 and you're in. You're 7.
And you can still win the division, host a playoff game. But to me, I would argue, honestly, at this point, Micah Parsons is the second best edge rusher in the league. He's phenomenal. He's huge to this defense. Without him, I don't think they're a great unit. I don't think they can get pressure. And that sucks. But honestly, at this point, I think Christian Watson might be more important. Just to this team. You saw when he went out, the offense could not do anything. And that was partly due to the protection, as you alluded to. But also it's just like after he goes out, I mean, who else is really there to make a ton of plays? Like Golden and Dobbs are pretty similar players. Golden, I mean, he ran a fast 40 time, but he doesn't really play like that. I thought Golden played pretty good today, but it's like Wicks, he can get open like short to intermediate, but he's not a deep threat. And Reed, he's a slot-only guy. So, I mean, you need Watson at the end of the day, and I thought Watson had another phenomenal game. Since
it's just
coming
a shame
back
he
from
went
injury.
down.
Yeah.
I feel like if that play doesn't happen, that the interception doesn't happen, Watson doesn't go out, who knows what would have happened? It would have been I think the outcome would have been different, but just losing Parsons. It's a good news to hear that Watson's probably still going to be okay and be back. But I guess the objective now is just outscore teams. And
that's why you need Watson.
And you're coming into Chicago next week. You can score on Chicago. You can move the ball on Chicago, but you can't sleep on Chicago. Chicago, they put together their games and they win the games they're supposed to win.
Mm-hmm.
And they've done that, I think, better than the Packers this year. Packers haven't won some of the games they should have won. And then they've won some games that I thought they wouldn't win. Like going into Detroit, I didn't think they'd win that game. So, there's just such a weird year. Anyway, but hey, you know what? It's the NFL. Nobody's going to feel sorry for us. We don't want you to. And I mean, we're still Packer fans at the end of the day. And, I think Jordan Love played well in the game.
Especially in the first half. I mean, honestly, the first half might be the best of his career.
And honestly, I think he just, he had to force some balls in there. And I mean, go for the big kill shot. Well, not necessarily a kill shot, but you go to try to put a little bit of a early dagger in him on that deep ball. Surtain makes a better play. You kind of are off target on Wicks, gets bounced in the air, and they pick it on that one. And otherwise, I thought he played a pretty good game. But we just kind of the Parsons injury, you could visibly see it deflate the team.
Mm-hmm.
You visibly could see it. So it's it's a next man up mentality though. So hey, you know what? We still got him for 4 years. And at least we're not going to lose a whole season on him. So, and
it's a bad situation right now too. It's because you don't have Kenny Clark because you traded him. You lost Devontae Wyatt. Those are losing Wyatt and Parsons. I think Wyatt has 22 pressures. Parsons is like 74, and I mean that's 90 pressures off your team. And I don't know where that would, like, if you remove those two guys, you total all the other pressures up. I don't know where that puts you among the league. And obviously, you can't just remove guys' pressures, but I mean, their replacements are not going to get that many. And I don't know where that would rank in the league, but I would guess it's fairly low. Yeah. So the pass rush is going to be a problem, but we've seen teams like the Bears don't have a pass rush. They're winning games, so it's. At the end of the day, impossible. At the end of the day, we need this offense to be humming, and I thought they were. That's what's weird, and I think if there's one key takeaway, it's like this is a really good Denver defense. Look, you put 26 on them, it should have been more.
Well, look, you've got they're the number one at keeping you from scoring when you're in the red zone, and they're the number one at capitalizing on red zone opportunities. So on offense, so. I mean,
and they kept us out of the end zone.
They did. We got down there a couple times in the red zone and settled for field goals. So, I mean, they did their job. And yeah, I mean, Denver's got a Super Bowl caliber team, really. I mean, they do. They have a Super Bowl caliber team. And I mean, I think AFC Championship to me probably comes down to either Denver, New England, or Denver, Buffalo.
At this point, I mean, the AFC is wide open.
What's Denver's remaining games? I mean,
fairly easy.
I think they're fairly easy now, especially Mahomes is gone. That's a bummer for freaking Christmas.
Yep.
That was going to be
at the very least, that
was just going to be an entertaining game. Now with Mahomes going down, that sucks.
What do you mean, Gardner Minshew?
Oh, Gardner Minshew. Yeah, that's going to be great. Well, I mean, next week you've got Jaguars at Broncos. That's going to be a big one. The way the Jaguars are playing. Good. Broncos are then at the Chiefs, then they're home against the Chargers. So. I don't know.
It's tough.
Broncos could be the one.
They got full control now, though, with the Patriots losing.
I feel like Patriots have a little bit of a softer schedule.
They do. They have the easiest schedule in the league.
They have the easiest remaining schedule. So, yeah, the tiebreaker I think right now is with
Is
Denver.
Denver.
So you kind of have two games in your bag on them. So if you can win two, you probably secure it then. So
This is an impressive win, and for Denver, you knew you had this defense, which I still think like we can say this is a great win for Denver. I do think their defense got decently exposed by the Packers, especially in that first half. Like they were just moving and doing whatever they wanted, really.
well,
So
the Packers do well against man coverage, and Denver plays the most man coverage.
and so I do think there's something there. And I mean, the Packers had the longest run of the year that they've had against Denver with the 40-yard rush by Jacobs. So, I mean, I definitely do think if you're Denver, you're kind of like, well, what the hell happened defensively? Like, this is a defense that doesn't do this. But
honestly, the way Denver played, that's how the Packers have to do it the rest of the way.
Yep.
Score touchdowns every time, pick apart off defenses, and just kind of that bend, don't break kind of defense.
Well,
right?
and if the Packers want to win games, make the playoffs, and win playoff games, they're going to have to start catching their interceptions and getting off the field because at the end of the day, you can say what you want about how the Packers played. You lose the turnover battle, you're going to lose games. Like that is like 101 of how you lose games is you lose the turnover battle. And I mean, so much was spoken of like Denver, not only their turnover differentials which is pretty good, but their sack differential is like historic. I mean, they have like 54 sacks. I don't know how many times Love was sacked in this game. 3 sacks. Felt like more, to be honest.
I think they were all in the second half.
Yeah. So I mean, now you're at 58 sacks. We didn't get to Nick's one time. We pressured him, but he just made plays with his legs, and I don't know. It's just the Packers' pass rush this season. When it's not come from Parsons, it hasn't really come at all. So, when you don't sack the quarterback, you get sacked 3 times. And I mean, another thing for Green Bay, it's just like, where the hell do these penalties come from? I feel like they've been pretty good thus far this season. And certainly, there's been games where it's been a problem. But overall, like I thought the penalties have been kind of a non-factor, but in this game it was brutal. And especially when we got down in the red zone and you're getting penalized and moving backwards. And then we finally get a Parsons holding penalty called and then we give it right away. So it's just like you cannot do those things.
Hey, don't look now. Vikings are up by 1, 24-23.
God. What is 9 stat line?
Right now, 9 is 11 of 20, 204, a touchdown and interception.
All right, that sounds about right.
86.2 rating.
Yeah, good win for Denver. They're 12-2. They're the class of the AFC at this point, and if you're Denver, you're looking at a run here where it's gonna probably run through Mile High.
Do you want to drop a game, though, before you enter the playoffs? Do you want to go in on a 13-game win streak?
I heard a Packers guy say that. I don't know. I think that's when you kind of get in your own head. I mean, I
don't know.
Ideally, it's like, let's just win.
Yeah.
But they can't afford to lose. They can afford to lose one more.
Yeah.
And it probably won't come against the Chiefs now. But we'll see what happens. But great win for Denver. They're a legit team. They got a legit defense. And at this point, if Bo Nix can, not even just play this good, but just play like he did today, making big throws when he needs to, especially on like those 4th downs and 3rd downs, they're going to go far in the playoffs. And for the Packers, you just got to find a way to move past this tragic day, tragic injuries, and get some guys healthy and beat Chicago next week. If you beat Chicago next week, you have a good chance of the division. So eyes moving forward to Chicago. Let's get to Bills Patriots.
Wow.
Patriots go up 21-0. I saw Dave Portnoy had a video. Obviously he's a Patriots fan.
Man.
He was high on his horse through I don't even know when it was, like 2 quarters when they were up 21-0. But you can't ever put the Bills away as long as Josh Allen is their quarterback.
I'll tell you,
what a game.
That first quarter and a half or whatever it ended up being. I can't remember what the halftime score was, if it was 24-7 or what. But man, I just thought, wow.
Yep, 24-7.
24-7 at the half. I thought, man, I mean, 21-0 at first. And
This is the NFL. That's a big boy lead.
man, I was just like, these Patriots are legit.
That's what I sent in my group chat.
And I still kind of think they are. I don't think they're
This
not.
This isn't a bad loss.
No. I still think they're legit, but I think it's kind of like, to me, the Patriots, the way they've been, just obviously post Brady, it's hard to maintain. I mean, be set such a standard that, I mean, it's unfair to throw that against anybody else because that's still an anomaly, really. And the Chiefs didn't even really achieve that level, the Patriot level that we saw. So it's still an anomaly. Yeah, I just thought, wow, they're legit, you know? The Drake May hype on the MVP, though, I was kind of like, his second year, I mean, yeah, he's making good plays, but they're also, I feel like the MVP is Vrabel. Yeah. That's who I felt like their MVP is. You know, Drake May's playing great, no disrespect at all. But I feel like sometimes that MVP conversation starts way too early, and you got to see how things finish. And I think today you saw who is still the better quarterback in that division,
Josh Allen's
right?
best in the league.
He's the best in the league. And if there's any team that can pick themselves up off the mat and make a comeback, obviously it's the Bills. We've seen them do it earlier this year, first game of the season, right? So it was a phenomenal rebound. I felt like watching the game, I guess I didn't get the sense. I looked at Drake May's box score at the end, and he was 14 of 23 for 155 and an interception. And he was sacked 3 times. QBR of 58, you know? And I was just like, looking at that, I'm like, man, he did not have a good game. But it didn't feel like that, really, watching him, because it felt like
I thought he played
they
fine.
executed well. It was just so much damage they were doing on the ground. It was not through the air. It was not on the
Henderson
arm of
had a
Drake
crazy
May.
day.
It wasn't on Drake May on his shoulders. It was on the running back, and so, or the running game, I should say. But yeah, I mean, what a phenomenal comeback. And, you know, the Bills just kept chipping away, and you thought, well, maybe, you know, it's going to probably be too little too late. That home field's going to come through for them at some point, and then they break off that run that Drake May's out there lead blocking, and, you know, and you're like, man, Drake May's faster than the running back. And you know, that's where I thought, okay, too little too late. But boy, was I wrong. And I mean, Josh Allen just continues to do amazing things, engineering, you know, these comebacks. And so what a big win for Buffalo. Keeps them alive in the division race. New England's got the easiest schedule. It's probably too little too late for the division for Buffalo. We'll see where they shake out in the wild card, but they're going to be on the road somewhere. It might be New England. Who knows? The way it's shaping up with Denver. That's a big stumble for New England. Obviously, when you're up 3 scores, and by that 3 touchdown scores at home, you never want to be losing that game at home like that. So that's got to sting quite a bit. I'm not sure what happened in that. I just think Josh Allen happened. You know, that's the only way to explain it.
Well, nobody does more with less, and he does the most. Like, he is unreal. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, you look at their wide receiving core, it's nothing special. I mean, your best player is Shakir, and even him, it's like, this guy ain't that great. But the way they run their offense with Knox doing what he's doing, the tight ends, like, they love using their 3 tight ends. And it's Cook and Allen back there, and those are the 2 engines. And when they're going, and it's dangerous. And we saw in this game, Cook has 3 total touchdowns. Allen just playing phenomenal. He won't win the MVP this year just because Stafford's having the year that he's having, but I don't think there's a more valuable player to a team. Like, he just does everything. He really does. And like, I'm telling you, you put any other quarterback on this team and they're not 10-4. This defense is really, really poor. They did make plays when they needed to, and that's 2 weeks in a row now where they're making plays. And it may not be totally pretty, and it may be bad for most of the game, but when you need the play, they make the play. Against Burrow, you get the 2 interceptions, and those are huge plays. And then here, you get the stop late in the game that you need against Drake May and the Patriots, who really have had their way in the game to that point. So, I mean, if that's the formula, it's a winning formula. That's a Super Bowl formula. And you're going to be in every game with Josh Allen. I do think, like we saw him against the Texans, they could be in trouble there in those kind of games. I would love to see a Bills-Broncos matchup, just see what that looks like. But this team is dangerous because Josh Allen is playing like Josh Allen. And if I'm an AFC team, I would not want to be playing these guys. And especially if they match up, I guess who's going to be the 3 seed at this point?
Probably
because they'll probably end up getting
Jaguars, Jacksonville, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, Jacksonville. You had a phenomenal game. Trevor Lawrence 6 total touchdowns. The Bills are beating you, and that's scary for Denver, for New England, because if they're matching up as a 6 seed against the 3 seeded Jaguars or whoever wins. That's where it does get interesting, though, because if they do have to play the Texans in the first round, we saw what the Texans did to them at home. That would be the scenario. Who knows then? But at this point,
it could be the Chargers too, right?
True.
Oh no, it'd be a division winner. Sorry.
Yeah.
It wouldn't. So it would be the winner out of the AFC South.
Yeah, and I was telling one of my coworkers who's a Bills fan, and he's like, "This is the year. It has to be the year," because. I mean, you're not going to face Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar. Like, none of those guys can make it.
If you're Josh Allen,
it has to be.
It's got to kill you that the year that this year showed up. All those top guns are out, and you're looking ahead of you at Drake May and Bo Nix, and you're thinking, "Well, what do I got to do?"
And I think not only Josh Allen, but like. The Bills organization should be like, man, it would be nice if we had that 2020, 2021, 2022 team right now.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, those teams were stacked. They had really good defenses. And you had Diggs at the peak of his powers with Josh Allen. It's like, man, if we had one of those teams, we don't have to go face Mahomes or Burrow when they lost that year to Burrow. You don't have to face those guys I mean, it would almost be a straight path to the Super Bowl at that point. I mean, it's still there. You can definitely look at what they're going to have to face. You can see the path, but it's going to be a lot harder just because they have limitations. But like I said, with Josh Allen, anything is possible. And for the Patriots, I mean, like I said, it's not a bad loss. I mean, in every test we've seen and everybody, it's like, oh, the Patriots, their schedule is horrible, which is true. They have played a pretty favorable schedule. They will play a pretty favorable schedule.
Hey, but 3 out of their 4 teams in the division are in the playoff.
Yeah, but also it's like the tests that they've been thrown at, or the tests have been thrown at them, they've passed. Like. They faced the Buccaneers. They beat and who knows? I mean, the Buccaneers may not be that good of a test now that we look at it. But the last time they played the Bills, they played them close, and they won. And this time they play the Bills, they play them close.
Yeah.
And they lost this one. But, I mean, to me, it's like I still think the Patriots are a legit team. And as long as you have Drake May, who didn't have his best game, but I still think he's playing good football, they'll be fine. And I don't think anybody would want to go play him. Because they got a lot of weapons on offense. They're pretty underrated. And Vrabel's just got them playing like a tough bunch. So, and we know what Vrabel has done with like underrated teams in the playoffs with Tennessee over and over again.
Aubrey missed a 59-yard field goal.
Impossible. You sure that's not fake? Aubrey missing kicks? Never.
Doesn't seem to happen usually.
But yeah, this is just a battle of 2 premier AFC teams. All right, let's get to the Chargers and Chiefs. Obviously, as we mentioned in the intro, Mahomes has torn his ACL. It happened late in the game, and the Chiefs are officially eliminated from playoff contention. And I did see this weird thing. Brady tore his ACL in his 9th season. Mahomes tears his ACL in his 9th season.
Really?
And they both had 3 Super Bowls going up to that 9th year. Obviously, Brady tore it at the start. Mahomes has had a pretty disappointing. He's had a good season, but the Chiefs have had a pretty disappointing season. It's just such a bizarre year. I mean, I don't really know because I think. Let me check here.
What are the Kalshi odds on Mahomes or Parsons returning first from this ACL? Since both of them happen on the same day.
I don't know if that exists. I would be willing to bet Parsons probably does. I don't know. It depends. I mean, it all depends on the situation, but I would say with Mahomes being a contact, it might be a little bit more severe. That I'm not a doctor. I have no idea. But if we look at the Chiefs here, they have a plus 60 point differential, and they're under 500. That is ridiculous. And I mean, plus 60, like if we sort it by league, I mean, plus 60 puts them like teams below them: San Francisco, Philadelphia, the Chargers, Chicago, Baltimore. Like these are all teams that are in playoff contention, and just above them by 7 is the Packers. So, I mean, they've definitely been snake bitten by close games not going their way. But also, we've seen them in years past. They've done nothing but win these close games, and every close game goes in their way. And it's just not been the case this year. And they're going to have to look themselves in the mirror and figure out where they need to move as a franchise, because you're almost assuredly going to lose Kelsey. He seems like he's ready to retire. Has definitely had a very off year this year from what we've seen from the Hall of Famer. And Chris Jones doesn't look like himself as much this year, so he's in the latter years of his career. So I mean, those are 2 pillars. We've said this before. Those are the 2 pillars of your dynasty, were Mahomes, Kelsey, Chris Jones. Like those 3 took you to Super Bowls and won you Super Bowls. And now going into next season, and that's the other thing now too, not only is this season over, you're probably going to have to go through at least like 4 weeks of no Mahomes to start the season. And that could get tough, especially, I mean, at this point, you probably are going to have to get
Flacco
draft. I mean, obviously not going to draft somebody super high, but draft somebody.
McCarthy just passed to Naylor for 4 yards for a touchdown.
Cowboys suck so bad. Like
30-23 right now, unreal. Pending extra point.
It's unreal. Right. But you do love to see the Vikings ruining their draft pick. That is good to see, because they're already eliminated. So ruining the draft pick, I'm all here for it. So yeah, the Chiefs, just disappointing. At the end of the day, everybody says I'm crazy, but I'm a little sad. I'm a little sad that the Chiefs aren't going to be competing for the playoffs and the Super Bowl.
Well, I think what people like to see is you'd like to see somebody beat the Chiefs in the playoffs to knock them out, not
like
them
this.
Just suck and not play well and be 6-8, which is so weird. So
and I don't know. I'm gonna miss like having that classic Allen Mahomes matchup this year. But yeah, it's a tough one. And for LA, I mean, you're 10-4. The cracks show. I mean, you only beat the 6-8 Chiefs by 3. I still don't think they're a 6-8 team, but it's definitely not the greatest victory ever. And they definitely have problems, but they're 10-4. Herbert ain't playing his best football, but I think LA's just a team where it's like, again, like kind of like the Packers, like your injuries are too much. You're probably not going to win anything this year, but they're almost a lock to make the playoffs. So who knows? I don't think they're going to go very far. They're probably a first round exit just because your 2 starting tackles and your O-line's pretty god awful. You got sacked 4 times, a Chiefs team that could not get any pressure all year. Do you have any more thoughts about this game in totality?
No, it just was, Yeah. I mean,
If you could feel at the end of the game, like the stadium was just like
Chief fans are feeling the way Patrick Mahomes was feeling rolling on the ground there after tearing his ACL.
Yeah, it was just like, and that is just such a horrible like bookend.
And that's
to the season.
the thing about sports. It never matters that none of them are sitting there going, "Oh well, we won 3 Super Bowls." They're just like,
it's always the
you
next
always want
one.
more. You know, that's the way it is. So, I mean, Travis Kelce ought to be able to walk away from his career and feel like he accomplished a lot and feel pretty proud of what he did. Have no regrets. You won 3 Super Bowls. You know, I know the last one you didn't, you know, and that leaves a little sting. That's what brought him back. But hey, you know, Elway made it to 5 and won 2.
Mm-hmm.
Or, well, 5 before he won 2. So what, like 7, I think? Anyway, I could be wrong on that.
I don't know exactly.
Whatever. But, yeah, you just never know.
No. Tough one for the Chiefs. Chargers win 16-13. All right, let's get to the Rams and Lions. You know Jaden on this show. He's an idiot. He decided to bet the under for this game, even though I told him, I'm like, there is no way the under hits on this game.
What was the under?
I don't know. Probably like 40 something. No, it was 56.5. The under. So he bet under 56.5. There was 75 points scored in this game. And I knew it because going into this game, you have the Lions who have they're missing Brian Branch, season-ending injury. They're missing Kirby Joseph. And even with those two guys in, this defense hasn't been phenomenal this season. So you're missing both of the two Pro Bowl All-Pro safeties in your secondary that's already weak. So I'm like, there's just no way that like Stafford is going to dice this team up. And they did. Puka Nacua, 180 yards or whatever it was. Just a big day from Stafford and the Rams offense. And now Detroit is staring down the barrel a little bit. If we look at New York Times, 26% chance to make the playoffs.
Oddly enough about that, while you're on that, 26% chance. Really, their most obvious or their most likely path is actually eliminating the Bears.
Well, yeah.
From the contention, right? Because they play the Bears last game of the season, so they got 3 more games left. And I think Detroit is playing at Minnesota next week. Following week, do you know who they play? It's
I'd have to check.
Sorry, yeah. By the way, I did just check that. I was wrong. Elway went to 5 Super Bowls.
5 Super Bowls.
So it's kind of similar.
Yeah, similar.
Yeah. So, except Kelsey's one more. So let's see.
They play.
Yeah, who the hell do they play?
They play Steelers, Vikings, then Bears.
Are you at home?
Yep. Home against Steelers, at the Vikings, at the Bears.
Okay. So you got the Steelers, you're at the Vikings, you're at the Bears. Those are 3 winnable games especially if the Lions show up and play like they did today against LA.
Offensively, yes.
Offensively against LA. I think they're going to get Kirby Joseph back.
They
I
should.
don't know if he was back in this game.
I don't think so.
I don't think he was. They're getting healthier on defense for this stretch run. They win those 3 games. That's critical right there. The Bears, let's see, the Bears are 10-4 right now. So if they lose one more game,
it's over.
If the Bears lose once in the next 3, and the Lions are 8-6, so yeah, the Bears would need to lose twice, right? So they need the Bears to drop one either to the Packers or to the Niners. Bears have the toughest remaining schedule.
But also, if the Packers lose all 3, and the Lions win out, the Lions would and the Bears would make it and the Packers would miss.
Yeah, if they lose out, if the Packers lose out.
I don't think that happens though, and so I mean, at worst, I think the worst case scenario is the Packers go 10-6-1, and the Lions are at 8-6 right now. So even if you win out, I guess, because then you would be 11-6. The Packers are 10-6-1, so I guess they would be ahead.
Lions would get it over then.
And then but yeah, so I'm honestly shocked the Packers have a 92% chance to make the playoffs. Like, I feel like there's somewhat a real possibility that they lose these next two and then beat the Vikings.
I don't think they lose to the Ravens.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I could just see like the rate, but I'm just saying like that's no gimme.
No,
I'm just shocked at 92. Like they're that confident the Packers will make it.
Yeah, well, maybe that was before Parsons went down. I don't know.
I guess.
I don't
but
know.
I mean, so yeah, it's gonna come down to those spots, and obviously like, I mean, yeah, the Niners have one of the easier schedules.
But if the Bears, if they beat Green Bay, say they beat Green Bay, they lose at the Niners, then they lose at home to the Lions. So they would be 11 and 6.
Well, here we can actually look at this, I think. So if the Lions win out, yeah, so if they win out, they're basically a lock to make the playoffs. Interesting.
How? Because what if you can't run? Can you run that scenario that if the Bears win out?
So yeah, we can do that. So then the Bears win out. Find all the Bears games here. Bears. Where are the Bears? Oh wait, yeah. So if the if the Bears win out, then it's not happening. But if the Bears win their next two, but then the Lions lose. Or no, so if the Lions win out, but the Bears win their next two, it's at a 70% chance or so.
Yeah. What's the Packers' probability if we
look, hold on, let's go back to the Packers.
So 92 right now.
So if they win out, I mean, it's a lock. If they beat the Bears, it's pretty much a lock. If they lose the Bears, if we just say that, it's still like an 85% chance.
But they have to beat the Vikings, right?
So, yeah, if they get 2 wins, it's a lock, basically.
Yeah.
But if they don't, and then, like, if we see here, if we have the Bears winning, like if the Lions win out, God, I can't ever find these stupid things. Lions win there, and then Lions win there. Yeah, so if the Lions win out...
Yeah.
And I don't even think I clicked them for here. Yeah, so the Lions went out. The Packers go 1 and 2 and only beat the Vikings.
Yeah.
8% chance. So
the good news for Packers, you control your own destiny. You're not banking on anybody. If you win out, you're in.
Yeah.
Or if you win 2 of the next 3, you're in.
But Detroit has serious problems defensively. They can't really get a stop. For LA, I do think your defense got a little exposed. We've seen them at times be very good. Like against Seattle, they were very good. But in this game, certainly they were pretty exposed. I mean, Goff had a phenomenal game. Or the stats. Yeah, 338 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Dallas turned it over on downs, midfield.
Yikes.
Minnesota 39.
Dallas. Wow. What are we doing?
31-23.
Better not lose the Vikings.
Vikings have been eliminated, though. So.
True. But yeah, Goff, phenomenal day from Goff. And he has been phenomenal all season. Honestly, his season kind of gone under the radar a little bit. Like, people aren't really talking about him. Like, I think he's second in the league in touchdown passes. Only has a couple interceptions on the year. Like, he's been really good. And the weird thing for Detroit is they weren't really able to run the ball. And we know LA's defense is very good at that. But usually that's been their catalyst on defense or on offense is running the ball, and they just weren't able to do it. But anytime you have 2 wide receivers who have over 130 yards and Amon-Ra was 160 yards, like, you're going to win games. And they lost in this case just because their defense is so god-awful at this point without the 2 big secondary pieces. Stafford's 368 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. The Rams are starting to become one of the better running teams in the NFL, and that's scary to me because when Stafford's moving like he is on offense, and then they have this rushing attack that goes for 160 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground, like, that is a scary sight for the league. And honestly, as I was watching this, I was like, if the Packers have to play the Rams, like, we are going to get torched. Like, against our corners, like, you line up Puka Nacua on any of these guys, Devontae Adams, I'm like, it is over. So, I mean, they are just so talented. They're, as long as they win, and obviously we got a great matchup coming up on Thursday. They're going to stay at the top of my power rankings because they're just that good. I think they're the most complete team in the NFL. And they're just fun to watch. And Puka Nacua, to me, is the best wide receiver in football, easily. So the Lions are on the ropes now. You got to win out. I honestly think they will. I think they will, but it's no gimme. But I think the games on their schedule are winnable for sure. But Rams win 41-34. Let's get to the Seahawks and Colts. Obviously going in this game, big stories about Phillip Rivers, and honestly, that was a respectable performance from Phillip Rivers. Let's see the final stats here: 18 of 27, 120 yards, a touchdown, a pick,
and the pick came in
garbage.
Like desperation.
Yeah, desperation.
Yeah,
it wasn't spectacular. No, like it wasn't great, but. Honestly, to be sacked one time against this ferocious Seahawks defense is kind of insane. Like, the Colts did a phenomenal job protecting him. And I mean, you knew coming into this game he would be a facilitator. That's what he was. Like, he's not going to be old Phillip Rivers that would play phenomenally, make big throws. He was going to facilitate, and I thought he did a fine job at it. Jonathan Taylor was not efficient, but got 25 carries. That's what I anticipated. I'm like, they're going to have to give this guy the ball a ton, and that's what they did. But at this point, they're 8-6. Let's see what their playoff percentage is, according to the New York Times. They're at 10%, so it's not looking great for them. I think they currently sit as the 8th seed, but they don't have the tiebreaker versus the Texans or the Jaguars at this point. So that's a problem for sure. And their season's probably over, but that's an honorable effort against a team who is 3rd in the league in point differential, I believe, 3rd or 2nd, and has whooped teams all year. Like, whooped teams. Like, Seattle has dominated teams all year. So to be at 11-3, the 11-3 Seahawks only beating them by 2 off of game-winning field goal. I mean, that's a honorable performance from the Colts. And you got to commend them for that.
You know, and it's funny because a lot of people are making fun of how fat Phillip Rivers is.
He is.
You know, and I'm like, he kind of looks like what my Wii Fitness avatar looks like when he was out there in pads. I'm like, that's what my Wii Fitness guy used to look like whenever I stepped on that Wii Fitness board. It's like, you know, it's like, hey, but you know what? He deserves it.
He looked like a coach.
Oh, yeah, you know, like
but the coach put on the pads.
How many 44-year-old guys could come off the couch like him, grandpa, and play like that against that defense? That
was pretty, like,
that was a
all
hell
things
of a
considered. That's a pretty damn
hell
good
of a performance, man. My hat's off to Phillip Rivers, man.
I agree,
because the writing was there for it to just be a shit show. And
I mean, they were 14.5 point favorites.
They were 40 seconds away from upsetting Seattle.
I know. It's crazy. And honestly, that spread was very disrespectful. Like, no odds maker in Vegas thought they stood a chance. So to come into this game, play like they did, that's honorable. And for Seattle, I mean, it's been a few weeks now where your offense has kind of sputtered a little bit. Another great game from JSN. He's kind of just a machine at this point. But they can't run the ball, and they're very bad at it. 50 yards on the ground, 2.3 yards per carry. It's been their problem all year, and they didn't really commit to it this game. They lead the league in rushing percentage. Like, they love to run the ball, pound the rock, but it's just not really working at the moment. And it really hasn't worked all year. And that's one of the weird things about their offense is they love to run the ball, but it just doesn't work. It's not there at all.
Yep.
So it happened again. And the other problem is that in Kubiak's system, it's like they want to run the ball, use play action off of it, but like if the run ain't working, the play action don't work. And you're kind of in no man's land because none of your offense makes sense.
I think defensive coaches have kind of figured out how to attack Sam Darnold a little bit. You know? He's kind of doing the same Sam Darnold-ish things where he starts off red hot, just like with the Vikings last year. Red hot, best player in the league for 7-8 weeks, and then he starts to slow.
Mm-hmm.
And latter half of the season, he starts having games where he doesn't throw any touchdowns or he doesn't throw any picks often, but in those either. But I mean, it's another game where last week I don't think he threw for very many either. I don't know how many touchdowns he's thrown for in the last 3 or 4 games, but it's not been very many.
No, and that was your number one worry if you're a Seattle fan when you got Sam Darnold. You're like, yeah, can this guy be good? But come playoff time, do we really stand a chance? And I'm not sure anybody thought Seattle would be this good. Maybe Seattle fans did. I certainly did not think they'd be this good as a team, but they are playing good football. They're 11-3. You can't complain for that. You haven't clinched playoffs yet. The Rams have, but you're almost a lock to make the playoffs at this point. And you got a big divisional matchup against the Rams to get your revenge in Seattle, which is undoubtedly a harder place to play than the Rams playing on their home turf in LA. So that's going to be a great matchup. But
last 5 games, 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
Really?
For Sam Darnold. Last 5 games.
That's crazy. I didn't know he had 5 picks.
He threw none against.
Well, he has 4 in the Rams game.
Well, yeah, 4 interceptions in the Rams game, no touchdowns. He followed up against Tennessee with 2 touchdowns, no picks. Followed up against Minnesota, where they won 26-0, had no touchdowns, no picks. And then against Atlanta, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. And then this game, no touchdowns, no picks. So, yeah, I mean, you had 3 out of your last 5 games you haven't thrown a touchdown.
That is interesting. Yeah. Well, all year they've just been a big play offense where they hit those play action shots to JSN, and those are where he gets a lot of his yards, a lot of his touchdowns on those deep plays. And if those aren't coming, it's somewhat of a pedestrian offense, but this defense is ferocious. They're still a top-tier power in the NFC, in my opinion. And I just cannot wait for that Thursday night football game. That's going to be absolute cinema.
Should be really good.
But honorable effort from the Colts. Seahawks win 18-16. All right, Myles Garrett. The historic season continues. He's now 1.5 sacks away from history. The guy's phenomenal, and he's going to break it. He has 3 games left to get 1.5 sacks. There is no way. And, I mean, to get a 1.5 sacks against Caleb Williams is already an accomplishment with the escape artist that he is. Like, against Stafford, I think they play Stafford. Against a statue like that, I mean, he's going to get it. Because I'm not sure any tackle can stop him at this point. He's going to get pressure, and he's going to get
He needs to get it next game or the game after, and then there's no excuse about the extra game.
Exactly. If he can get to that, then it's officially and honestly, at this point, regardless, he should, at his current pace, he should just break it outright, get 3 more than the 22.5 record. And it's just crazy to me. He's never really been at this point in his career up to this point. And it's this year when the Browns have sucked for years, but
right.
They're really bad this year. And he just signed a contract there. Get him the hell out of Cleveland. Let's put him on a contender so he can actually have some meaningful sacks.
Just not anyone in the NFC North.
Yeah, no. Let's send him. Let's send him to the Jacksonville Jaguars or something. Maybe put him on a playoff
keep him out of the AFC, I would think.
They probably would. They'd probably send him to the NFC, probably to the LA Rams or something stupid.
Cowboys.
That would be funny. That would. My worst case scenario is they send him to Chicago. A short trip. From Cleveland over to Chicago. That would kind of piss me off a little bit.
That would suck.
Would not like that. I know every Bears fan would love that. Obviously, you get Myles Garrett, you get the best pass rusher in the league.
Well,
but
it's got a couple years left, right?
I do think this offseason, if I'm Myles Garrett, I might request a trade because I get it, money's good and all, but like I'd take a pretty big pay cut to play meaningful football, especially, I mean, he's made money in his career. Like he's not looking for money at this point. Although I don't know if you've seen, but every NFL player now that's retired it's like, yeah, I made $300 million in my career, but like it's all gone now. And it's like, where's the money going, guys?
A lot of family members.
That's where it's just ridiculous. It's like, yeah, you made $100 million. Like, where'd it go? Like, the average person ain't going to be spending $100 million that fast. So,
boy, I tell you, George Pickens, 3 catches, 33 yards in this game.
Pickens is playing himself out of a contract.
I'd say.
Like, if you asked me like 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, I'd be like, yeah, they're going to pay him. He might get 30. Now I'm like, ain't no way in hell Cowboys pay him. Although it's Jerry Jones, you never know. But.
Well, it's 1st and 10 on the Dallas 30, up 31-23 with 3:12 left. So sounds like Minnesota's got this one iced.
Good. Higher draft pick, baby. Higher draft pick. Minnesota, you are the dumbest team in the league. Just execute a good tank. Get down lower. Get a better draft pick. But no, you have the 2 best games of the season back to back after you're eliminated. Geniuses, I tell you, over down in Minnesota. Tanking the draft pick. You'll be in the mid-teens. You'll get a crappy player like always. Thank you to Minnesota. But yeah.
Hey, but JJ McCarthy, 9. He's the guy.
He's the guy. He's playing phenomenal football. Extend your GM, Kwesi, extend O'Connell, all of the above, extend them all. And let's keep this train rolling, Minnesota. If you keep playing like this going into next year, you're going to be a dangerous team. But yeah, Myles Garrett, what a player. Let's look at the NFC standings at this point. Obviously, Dallas is losing. They'll still be
eliminated then.
They for sure. I don't know.
6-7-1. What are the Eagles right now?
9-5.
9-5.
Yeah.
So I guess they're technically still got a heartbeat, but certainly makes it difficult.
So yeah,
so the best that Dallas could finish is 9-7-1.
Yeah.
And so they're hoping that
they'll still be the 10 seed. As of right now.
Well, they will, but they're virtually out of the playoffs.
Pretty much. Yeah. So now the Bears are the 2 seed. They went back down to the 7 seed. Now they're the 2 seed. They'll play the Packers next week for the right to have the NFC North for just one more week. It seems to be flopping back and forth. I will say, Bears fans, you guys are starting to get a little ridiculous. You act like you've won this division for 20 years straight now. You really haven't touched it for close to a decade, so I'd shut your trap a little bit before you get too cocky. And if we beat you next week, there really ain't no excuse, is there, Bears fans? Because we'd be out one of the best defensive players in the league. So, yeah, pretty much the same playoff picture as last week. Same teams, and it's kind of looking like this top 7 is going to be the top 7. Obviously, Carolina.
They get flopped.
Carolina, that's a big loss right there because you kind of had your opportunity to take advantage of Tampa losing, and you don't do that. So, that's kind of rough for Carolina because you could have had that. Tampa's reeling, and Carolina, you could have jumped ahead of them, and you have 2 games left to play against Tampa. But I guess it makes those games even more compelling now with them having the same record. But at this point, Rams control the destiny for the 1 seed. If they beat Seattle, I'm not sure if they clinch it for sure, but I feel like at that point, the Rams are the 1 seed. The Packers and the Bears really have no chance. And the interesting thing about Philly is Philly has kind of the tiebreaker over everyone in the NFC except the Bears. And obviously, the Seahawks, they haven't played, or the Niners, but they have a lot of conference wins. So Philly is definitely not dead yet, even though it kind of feels like it these past few weeks. But if you look at the AFC here, Jaguars still there. I really don't feel like they should be. But they're
playing good football right now.
You beat up against the Jets. It's a good win, but it's the Jets. But now the Broncos, like we were saying earlier, they control the 1 seed at this point because they not only they have the tiebreaker normally, they also have a game lead. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And Baltimore winning against the Bengals was huge. Officially eliminates Cincy. And now it's just Ravens Steelers for the division. That's going to be a fun battle down the stretch. And it's looking like these wild card teams are going to be the Chargers, Bills, and Texans. Texans could win the division. I do think they're better than the Jaguars just with that defense. So we'll see how it all plays out. And the Dolphins squeaking in the top 10 now.
Yeah.
They've been on a little bit of a win streak. Probably nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to come out of it, but good for them.
It makes that game tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Playoff positioning,
And
man. That's an important game.
honestly, like for Miami, like you had
Crazy.
to bounce back. Like good on Mike McDaniel.
They gonna fire him still?
I don't know. He might have played himself into
One more year?
one. I don't know. I'd probably still
Not
fire
sure what
him.
his not sure what his record
But
is. Or his,
they've been impressive.
Contract is.
Yeah, they've been impressive though. Like they've been impressive and they've been playing good football over the past stretch. So good on them. That's going to do it for us. Cowboys probably going to lose. Glorious day for that. But otherwise than that, it was a horrible day.
53-yard field goal for Minnesota.
Pretty much ice it if he makes it.
Yep, from the right hash.
Reichard's usually on point.
Kicks up. Oh, yep, it snuck back in.
All right.
That's going to ice it. 108.
Dallas is going to lose again because their defense.
34-23 Minnesota.
And the defense then the Vikings get a worse pick. It's a good day on that standpoint. But we lost two of the greatest NFL stars in the league, and Parsons and Mahomes. Bad on that standpoint. The Packers lost. It's always bad for us.
Yep.
But yeah, it's another fun week of football.
Hey, it's called the NFL.
Yep. And we'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow night for a reaction, and then on Thursday we'll have a reaction with Jaden and Jock probably because they're both Seahawks fans. So that's gonna be a fun one.
That'll be a good one.
And then we'll be back with a reaction to the Packers-Bears game. College football playoff starts on Friday and Saturday. That's going to be awesome. So we'll see you guys then. But enjoy. Please like, subscribe, comment. All those things help out a ton. It's greatly appreciated. Stay safe. Have fun watching football and sports. And we will see you in the next one. Take it easy.